Good morning, everybody.
Morning. How are you?
Morning.
I'm good. How are you?
Tired.
Yeah, it's early. Okay, I think it's 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to talk about today, I'm going to check in with you all. I've been starting to process all of the submissions of course materials. Thank you for your hard work last week. We're going to do a little bit of grammar on the street today, and then we'll take a Writer's Help 2.0 tour so you can see what's going on over there. And the last thing that we're going to do today is I'm going to attempt to play a game, and we'll see how it goes. Just a couple of reminders about this week's work. On Tuesday, we'll read the Freeman and Freeman chapter from Weaver. And I did post a copy of that in the week 2 materials. It should be in the overview or a link to it in the overview and in the deadline I set up for the reading. On Thursday, we will be talking about academic reading and writing. And there is a Writer's Help 2.0 assignment associated with that really is just skimming through some materials you may have encountered as part of your Writing 121 class in the past, or a first year composition class in the past, or long in the past, depending on your situation. And then Friday, there will be no Zoom. So that's kind of the schedule for this week. Before I talk a little bit about scoring materials and whatnot, do folks have questions or concerns?
Should we have gotten Writer's Help 2.0 set up by this point? Because I still didn't activate my code yet.
No, I'm going to talk about how to do that today.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Good. Are there other questions? Okay, so as I said, I've started scoring assignments. This class essentially has a lot of little assignments throughout most of the weeks of the class, and then we have a reflection paper at the end of the class. So what kind of happens is we work really hard for about 7 weeks, and then we sort of slide into the end of the term on that paper. So hang in there. Hopefully the bulk of the work that you're doing now is ahead of the work in other classes that you're doing, and it'll even out as we get into the later part of the term. It's also like heavy lifting on this end of things. As you'll see, what I'm trying to do with the grammar fingerprint, I won't do this with every grammar fingerprint, is provide you some feedback on what I'm seeing in the uses of sentence elements, because you're all doing great stuff. Some of you, I think there's one person that actually had an absolute phrase in their grammar fingerprint exercise, or where was it? Maybe it was in the Morenberg. Anyway, the absolute phrase I think is the hardest phrase to learn, and there's at least one person who is already doing it, so yay. A few of you, this was in the Morenberg when you're creating your own phrases and clauses. A few of you are working with appositives already. Appositives are pretty easy when you get used to them, but not everybody uses them, so it'll be a new phrase for people to get to know. We use tons and tons of prepositional phrases all the time. But it was kind of funny. That was maybe the thing that people on the grammar fingerprint were less familiar with. So I'll talk a little bit about prepositional phrases today, and we'll get to them more officially later in the term. So it was really interesting to kind of see where people's writing is. Again, the use of phrases and clauses is really, it's stylistic choices, not about correctness. But as we work through the term, we'll be getting to know some of those phrases and clause types, and I'll want you to be able to produce them when required. So we'll be practicing how to do that. So that kind of heavy lifting that happens on this end of things means that I'm a slow grader. Once we hit my paper 1 in Shakespeare, again, things get messily slow. So my goal is to get things scored and back to you within a week. When I hit the middle of the term, that sometimes slows down. I also created a survey about textbooks. I'm just trying to make sure that you have access to all the materials for the course. I think about 12 people have already completed it. Thank you. If you haven't, go in and it's just basically answer the questions about where your textbooks are. Because I will keep making copies as long as I need to, but it did take me an hour and a half yesterday to do the copies for week 3. So as soon as I can stop making copies, I would like to do that. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Did any of that information raise any questions on your end? Okay, so I'm gonna go in and share my screen. We'll go into, let's see if I can get into our class. Okay, here we go. So I thought I would talk just a little bit each Monday about the Grammar on the Street posts. So I'm going to go in there right now and have a look at what's there. I've already talked about, right, eat pizza every day. I encountered another one of those everyday errors recently. I didn't collect it, but there it is, right? So, so I was going to pull up Burgundy's. I think when you're a teacher, doing grammar is always kind of ironic, because if you make a mistake, it's like a whole reflection on your career. So if those of you that are headed into elementary education or secondary education, it's a good thing to get your grammar ducks in a row, because people will be judging you. Oh, look what my daughter's 3rd grade teacher sent home, right? So good to know where to put things. Anyway, I don't know if you can see, Burgundy, I don't know which, I didn't notice all of the errors perhaps here, but the one that I noticed, and I don't know if you're seeing it, just eyeballing that first sentence, or maybe there's a couple of errors in that first sentence. Can you see an error there?
We can't see it. It only says like Burgundy Porter and then Nancy Knowles.
Okay, let me see if I can share properly. Okay, how about that?
There we go.
Yay.
There should be a comma after OHS student.
Ah, good, right? Because the person is addressing the student. OHS student, comma, please make sure to check your Google Classroom today. Yes. There's a couple of other things in there I might question or talk about if you want to.
Should email be plural?
Let's see.
If you didn't wish to receive any future emails from Ontario School District.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Yeah, Would you do that? Good.
In that first line, the make too sure to check.
Did you catch that? I completely read through that because I knew what I was expecting to see perhaps, and I just didn't see what was actually there. Yeah. Please make too sure to check your Google Classroom today. Yeah. Well, let me ask you about capitalization. This is something we learn in second grade, right?
OHS student.
Would you capitalize student? I have two minds of that. You know, okay, if it's OHS student as sort of a proper noun, okay, I could do that. But normally I think it would be lowercase. Yeah. What about Google? Yeah. Google, proper noun. Yeah. We're getting so used to the word Google that maybe, I don't know, maybe it's become a common noun, but I think Google would want to still be a proper noun.
They're not worthy of capitalization.
Thank you for your political commentary. Yes, good. Okay, right? So it's doubly embarrassing when you're an educator and stuff, you know, gets sent out before it's ready. I want to say also that, you know, stuff sometimes needs to get sent out, and the faster the better. And so none of these errors is interfering with our ability to understand what's going on, right? So, okay. So I can forgive them. Let me go back to our course. Oh, and I found this funny one. I was, you know, as I was working in Writer's Help this weekend, again, I'll probably need to share differently. So the only reason I know this, so Writer's Help 2.0, as you'll see, has a whole sort of grammar handbook attached to it. And I've been using it to use the language. As I make comments on the Morenberg exercises, I'm trying to use the language from our handbook, Writer's Help 2.0, so that I'm not making up the rules in my head, that I'm actually using the rules we're sharing based on sharing that, that particular handbook. And so I wouldn't have noticed this error except I was copying and pasting some of the language into somebody's document. And if you'll notice, the spelling of modifiers, the second time the word modifiers is used, hyphens help readers recognize and connect modifers.
Yeah, modifers.
Right? Yeah. My eye would not have caught that, but my spell check certainly did. And you know, it's our handbook, so it's kind of fun if it's wrong sometimes. Yeah. All right.
They're doing that on purpose.
Yeah, right.
It's on our toes.
I meant to do that. Yeah. Well, that's what I always say when it's me, right? Yeah, I'm just testing you. Okay, so we got a couple of others from folks this morning. Here's Alexa's. Aw. Yeah. It is a beautiful day. Here we are working on grammar. Yeah. Good. Thank you. All right. I think we've got another one. Oops. Okay, so we've got a friend's Instagram. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm spelling on my phone. That's the way it goes. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Thank you for contributing. Questions, comments, thoughts? Are there particular spelling issues or grammar issues you want to talk about this morning? Okay, so keep posting in Grammar on the Street. Those of you that have posted once, that's really all you need to do this term. But if you want to keep posting and talking, great. You'll get extra credit for doing that. Okay, so we're going to shift into having a look at Writer's Help 2.0. And I think I got it set up right this weekend, and I'm really kind of excited about it. Whether that's true when students get into it is a completely different question. Okay, so I'm going to go into modules. Whoa. And I'm going to go to week 2. So I'm in my instructor view. You won't be able to see all the stuff that's here. So in week 2, Writer's Help 2.0 access and first reading, I would start there. So, and this information, it's been a long time since I registered for Writer's Help 2.0 access. It's been years and years, so I don't remember exactly how it works. But I believe once you click onto the link that's provided here to our course, you can either put in your code that you got from the EOU bookstore, right? So they will have provided you information to insert as you register, or you can go in and sign in and pay right when you go in. Writer's Help 2.0 will offer you a 21-day free access. And you can do that if finances are tight right now, totally get it. But you'll need more than, you'll need more access than that. You'll need more than 21 days. So I would recommend, if you can, to go ahead and purchase your access. Confirm that you want to join the Spring English 316 class. And that should give you access, and it should sync with Canvas. That's the goal. I've had miscellaneous problems in the past where the sync hasn't happened, and in a sense it's okay, because if you do the work in Writer's Help 2.0, and there's a grade book in Writer's Help 2.0, I can always move the you know, the point information from Writer's Help 2.0 into our Canvas shell, so that's not the problem. But sometimes if it doesn't associate right, you're not getting the right deadlines and whatnot. So anyway, let's cross our fingers and hope that this works. The first reading assignment, like I said, I'm going to ask you to go in and skim some materials that have to do with composing and revising, which are part of Writing 121 or any first year composition class. As well as academic reading and writing. And those are kind of larger sections. So I would just go in, skim through the topics, make sure you're comfortable with that kind of information. If we had a paper, you know, bound book in our hands, we would do the same thing, kind of page through, double check that this stuff's familiar to you. There's stuff in there about outlining and drafting and thesis statements and organization and all that kind of stuff that you got in Writing 121. And I just want you to know that it's all there. So if you have questions or need support, the material, the information is there, and we will talk about it in class on Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to take us in. Again, hopefully. Okay, can you see Writer's Help 2.0? Okay, I'm going to preview it as a student. Okay, so here we are. So this left-hand column is the table of contents, and you can use this to get around. So I just want to show you what's here. Our learning curve assignments are there, right? And you can see the deadlines in there should match up with the deadlines that we have. And we're doing particular learning curve assignments in particular weeks because they're pertinent to what we're working on. So this week, we're doing the learning curve assignments that have to do with parts of speech. So nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and stuff like that. Okay, those are there. Notice the composing and revising and academic reading, writing, and speaking. Those are the two first readings that I want you to just skim through. And again, you'll notice when you click on them that you can move through, you know, using the sort of table of contents. Let me try this again. I was having trouble this weekend with stuff loading properly. It's doing it again. Try faculty view just to see. Because what should happen is when you click on that stuff, it should load in this main screen right here. This is exactly what it was doing it this weekend. I was on the phone with the help guy and actually chatting. And then it worked. So, okay, I'm gonna get out and go back in. There we go. Okay, so that was, maybe that'll be helpful to you. You can see what I'm struggling with on this end, and if you run into the problem, you'll know what to do, right? So you can, again, just skim through, double check that you understand what's going on in the particular set of information. You can also, let me see if I can, that for a second. Okay, you can also move through using the arrows, right? So the arrow keys will get you through, and you can watch how it's moving down through the table of contents. You can also take notes, right? You can add like an annotation. If this is a particularly important thing for you and you want to annotate right in here, you can add a note. Yeah, I really need to work on this. I don't know, whatever that is. Okay, great. Private post. You can also highlight, right? So if I want to just highlight something and come back to it, I can highlight it. Okay, so that's how that works. Let me see. There's also a search feature. So, so prepositions. Let's go to prepositions, right? So there's 12 items that have to do with prepositions, common prepositions. And here's that list I was forced to memorize in grade school, right? So prepositional phrases all begin with prepositions, and there's a list. So when we start to work on prepositional phrases, you can come back and have a look at it. Okay. Alrighty. So So going back to the table of contents, right? So as we start to work with this material, when I assign something, I'll tell you it's in the table of contents, click on this one, and then click on that one, and you'll find it there, right? So you can use the table of contents to locate the readings that we do from Writer's Help 2.0. There's a lot of other stuff here that's kind of cool that we won't necessarily use, right? So actually go back to preview as a student so you can see what you see. Right? So there's podcasts, there's video tutorials, there's you know, the handbook that has to do with MLA and APA citation format, usage terms, right? So if I'm using a term and you don't understand what it is, there's a whole glossary of terms here, right? So this is our handbook. You can also go through the material here, right? Our assignments are all listed there. The only thing I've assigned are learning curve things. And the grade book is there, right? Again, that you'll see, minus this for a second, right? Essentially, once you've started working, you'll see the learning curve assignments and the score. If you do all of the learning curve assignment, I think you get full credit. So let me go into one of those now and just kind of show you what it looks like. And I have to say they're a little tedious. So you may encounter the same questions. Let's go into one that we have for today, this week. Let's do nouns and pronouns. So it'll start off with a kind of like it'll tell you what we're gonna do, what you're gonna do, and how well you do. I don't know. The points are kind of bogus. Each of these is sort of 15% or 15 points within a set of 19 learning curve exercises that are worth 20% of your grade. When you do this work, if you complete the learning curve assignment, it gives you full credit. You work all the way through it, and this is what it looks like. They are kind of workbooky exercises, but the system is designed to help you review the things you're struggling with, right? So several words in the following sentence are underlined. From among the underlined words, choose the word that is a noun or a noun used as an adjective. Okay, so Boston. Yay, great job, Boston. Okay, and it'll have some information about, you know, that you got right. If you want to challenge the question, you can try that. Let's go on to the next question. Which sentence has an error in a plural noun? Okay, if captured by a human, a leprechaun must grant 3 wishes. There are plenty of buses on this route, but they are never on time. The zoo announced a grand opening of the spider monkeys. Oh, monkeys, look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna say it's probably monkeys, but let's be wrong. Buses is a word I've misspelled frequently. There's only 1 S, but there should be 2, right? It's okay. Buses is the correct plural noun of bus. There's the information about the fact I got it wrong. If I want to challenge the question, oh, I could give them a whole report. Okay, I don't need to do that today. All righty. If I need help, right, it'll take me to the ebook with some rules. I can get a hint, right? I can get shown the answer. And if I get shown the answer, it'll ask me again later. And then I'll go on to the next question. What I found when I was doing this one this weekend, just to kind of play around with it, was that it repeated the same questions sometimes, and that was tedious. So, especially since I was 100% right. So, you know, Like, what did I need to do that question 5 times for? So if you feel that way, just notice that you feel that way and be patient. And then you'll finish and it'll tell you, kind of give you a recap of the strengths and weaknesses in the whole set of exercises. So try it out, see what you think. If you have questions about it, let me know. Like I said, I do think it ends up being full credit. So if you're patient with it, work through it. It's okay if you don't know how to do this stuff. That's partly why we're doing this. The whole point is to practice the stuff you don't know. And in the process, unfortunately, you're practicing also the stuff you do know. So sorry about that part of it. Okay, questions, comments, concerns about Writer's Help 2.0 or Learning Curve at this point? I'm just going to stop the share so I can see the chat. Yeah, is there anybody have questions about any of that? I would encourage you today, if you have time, to get in, make sure you can get in and access Writer's Help 2.0. You don't actually have to do anything until Thursday's class, but just get in, make sure you can get in there. And then maybe on Tuesday we can, if you have questions, we can talk about that.
And then one thing too that helped me, I guess, they also have different access lengths for how long you can purchase the code. So one's like, it's like $30 for like 5 years or something. And that's the one I recommend for other people, is because like if you are, depending on the year you are in school, like this is the second time I've had to use this. So it's just like, if I would have only done the 1 year, I would have had to pay like more money 2 more times. And so I would just recommend getting the longer access.
Thanks, Emily. If you are headed into writing 230, the tutoring classes, that's the other one I'm pretty sure that uses it. Yeah, so it might be nice to have it for both. Good. Other questions, comments? Okay, super. I'm just gonna make sure I know who all is here. I'm sorry, there's some kind of construction on the street outside. Can you hear that? A little bit? Okay, I'm gonna go get a headset. I'll be right back. Now I look like a guy in a control tower. Can you hear me? Okay, okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna play a game and it's called Kaboom. Has anybody ever played Kaboom? No? Okay. So for those of you who are headed into, again to teaching, this might be something fun to do with young people. I find that adults like to have fun too, kind of. Oh, and I'll say fun, right? Fun. It's only partly fun because I'm making you do it. Okay, so I'm going to divide you up into teams. Let's see. So I want you to remember which number you are. Okay, so Laura, Jessica, Megan, and Cambry, you're number 1. Garrett Dixon, Burgundy, Shanice, and Braden, you're number 2. Kayla Storm, Manilyn, Lauren, and Alexa, you're number 3. Haley, Garrett Christensen, Kayla Harvey, and Brianna, you're 4. And Emily, McKinley, and Becca, you're 5. Is there anyone that does not have a group? Okay, super. Okay, so the way this game works is we're gonna move through the groups. We have about, I don't know, looks like maybe 15, 17 minutes left. So we'll move through the groups an equal number of times. And I have this bowl of stuff here. And I'm gonna pick a word. It's essentially a bunch of words. And I'll ask your group to determine what the part of speech is. And if you get the part of speech, you get a point. Yay! And if you don't get it, then it'll move to the next group and the next group can try to get the point. However, the reason it's called Kaboom is that there's some, oh, you see it backwards. Look at that. I don't know what to do about that. If I pull out a Kaboom, that means you lose all your points. So, all right. Anyway, I think there's only like 2 or 3 of those in there. Okay, and I'm gonna mix it all up. So group 1 is first. That's Laura, Jessica, Megan, and Cambry. And so you might unmute, or if you're willing to chat, that's fine. Okay. Your word is everything. What part of speech? Okay, so Laura's responded. Jessica, Megan, Cambry, do you agree?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, point. Yay, 1 point. All right, group 2.
Wait, what'd you say it was?
It's a pronoun.
Pronoun. Okay, good, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, good. That's a tough one. When I think of pronouns, I just think of he, she, and it, right? But there's a lot of other kinds of pronouns in the world. Okay, group 2 is Garrett, Dixon, Burgundy, Shanice, and Braden. And your word is very. Very. Anybody want to take a guess?
Is that like an adverb or adjective?
I can't, I'm nodding because I'm listening to you,
Oh,
right? Yeah, I can't
Yes.
answer. So your group, what, Shanice says adjective
it's like an adjective or an adverb.
or adverb. Okay,
Okay.
so how about Burgundy and Braden? Any thoughts on that? Can you all see the chat? Okay, good. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so you have 2 potential answers. Which one you want to pick? Adjective. So we got 2 for adjective.
Yeah, let's just go with adjective for sure.
Adjective. It's an adverb. Sorry. Oh, I was not supposed to answer that one. I'm supposed to give it to the others. Okay. My
I
bad.
should have trusted myself.
Yeah, right. So, and the reason why that's a tough one is because adverbs modify adjectives, right? So very small, right? Small would be the adjective and very would be the adverb. Okay. Okay. So sorry, group 2, no point this time around. Who knows? We may just get a point, time to have a point apiece, and that's it. Let's see. Okay. Group 3, Kayla, Storm, Manolyn, Lauren, and Alexa. Your word is who. Part of speech.
Is it a pronoun?
Okay, Lauren's suggesting pronoun. What do others think? Madeline says pronoun too. Kayla and Alexa, are you okay going with pronoun? Yep. Okay, yep, you're right. Well done. Okay, group 4, Haley, Garrett Christensen, Kayla Harvey, and Brianna. Your word is or. What part of speech? Anybody want to take a guess?
We said conjunction. in the chat.
Conjunction. Thank you. Conjunction. Okay, it looks like Kayla and Garrett are Haley and Brianna okay with that? Agreed? Yes, conjunction. Well done. Okay. It looks like, I wonder if we'll have time. Well, maybe we could get a second round in. All right, Emily, McKinley, and Becca, your word is it. Doesn't really help me to show that one. What part of speech? Emily said pronoun. Becca said pronoun. McKinley, okay, yeah, good. All right, good. Okay, we have time for one more round. Everybody has a point except group 2. So let's see if group 2 can get a point. But we'll start with group 1. Group 1, your word is skipped.
Verb.
Megan says verb. Verb. Okay, yep. Good. Point. All right, group 2. Your word is 5. So Garrett Dixon, Burgundy, Shanice, and Braden. What do you think? The word is 5. Oops. Shanice says adjective. Burgundy says noun. Ooh. Braden says adjective.
I'm thinking adjective as well.
Okay. I'm gonna say you're right. You're both right. For example, right, normally it would be an adjective. I have 5 fingers, right? That 5 describes how many fingers I have. But you could say the 5 went to the store, right? So suddenly the adjective has become a noun. Ooh, grammar is fun, right? Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, I usually say in class, nod and smile, everyone. Just nod and smile. Yeah, Nancy. Really fun. All right. Group 3, Kayla, Storm, Manolyn, Lauren, and Alexa. Your word is. What part of speech? Alexa says verb. Manolyn says verb. Kayla, Lauren, what do you think? Yep, verb. Good. All righty, group 4. All right. Haley, Garrett Christensen, Kayla Harvey, and Brianna, your word is happy.
I'm gonna say adjective.
Adjective, so we got one adjective. Haley's also said adjective. Kayla says adjective, you are right. All right, group 5. Emily, McKinley, Becca. Oh, your word is until. I know it's backwards, but I feel like I just have to show it. What part of speech is until? Preposition, 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 yay. All right. Well done. I don't think we don't have a winner. In fact, we have a 4-way tie. So that's it. I don't think we're gonna have time to do another round. Great, thank you. I don't know, was that fun? It was a game, at least, a little bit. Oh, the words are shown correctly. Okay, that's so strange. It looks backwards on my screen. Well, good, that's good for me to know. Okay, thanks for saying that, Becca. Okay, so for tomorrow, have a look at Freeman and Freeman. As we work together in class, we're gonna do a poem exercise that we can just do. It's a quick one. We'll do one of the poem types that are in Freeman and Freeman. And folks who can't make it to class can do the poem on their own. So that's what we're headed in for tomorrow. Questions, comments, concerns?
Are we looking at a poem or are we writing a poem?
We will be writing a poem. And when you take a look at the article, Freeman and Freeman article, you'll see there's a couple poem types in there. We'll just test drive one of those.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Other questions?
Actually, sorry. So for the poem exercise, there was one on Canvas. Is that the one that we're gonna be doing in class tomorrow? And then we'll just like type it up in class and submit it afterwards?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes that'll happen. We'll do an exercise while we're together. That just means that it's done and done. You don't have to take extra time to do it. Good. Other questions? Okay, have a great day.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hey.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye, Laura.